2019 Violence Against Children and Youth survey reported that among 18 to 24-year-olds, 45% of men had experienced physical, sexual, and/or emotional violence in childhood, and that the first instances of sexual violence for boys and men occurred most at home. The current challenge is that male victims hardly open up about their experiences of sexual violence. We need to create safe spaces for boys and men to speak up and seek help.
Gents, this is a rather sensitive and difficult topic for us all. Talking about sexual assault really takes back power from the trauma. But you guys coming here and opening up really is the first step, no matter how difficult. Sexual assault can happen to anyone, regardless of age, gender identity, or sexual orientation. Is there anyone who would like to open up for us?
Where do I start? It all started when I was younger, when I fell asleep. My mother's boyfriend would come into the room. He touched me, and he made it seem like it was okay. And at that age, I thought, okay, it might not be wrong. But at some point, it just became too much. I was afraid. I was afraid to speak out, especially after he threatened me. But one good day, I visited my father, and I decided to tell him everything that happened. He immediately called the police. And of course, that coward went on the run. It was so difficult to find him. But eventually, he was arrested.
Wow, thank you for sharing. That was so brave of you. Is there anyone else who'd like to share?
For years, all I experienced was shame. Because of all the experience, the only experience I had was of pain. Growing up, a child shouldn't be exposed to sexual assault at a very young age. It really complicates life. It really complicates everything around you. Now there's a stigma. There's a stigma for me to be forced to be strong, for me to be unmovable, and for me not to feel. This makes it really difficult for me to come up and to open up.
Wow, but you did. You had the courage. You all did. Is there anyone else who's brave enough to share with us?
I was afraid of what people would think. I was ashamed that a man sexually insulted me. I didn't fight hard enough. Sorry. My family, friends, colleagues were unaware. My mother didn't fully understand what happened to me. My daughters knew nothing about this, knew nothing at all. It was my choice, my secret. The real heal was a shift when I started to essentially believe I'm not responsible for what happened to me. it was time to be honest with myself and not to keep this secret from the people closer to me.
And you had the courage. Not many people are suffering in silence.
It was hard for me too, to tell my friends and my family what happened to me. My aunt sexually assaulted me, and many of my family members questioned why I waited to speak about the abuse. And they would openly express their disbelief in my story. There was so much conversation about me without me, but no one ever had a conversation with me. I became depressed and struggled for years, but my best friend helped me. He taught me about creative expression, and we worked on a one-man dramatic stage play about abuse and self-discovery. It was very therapeutic. I really came to terms with the abuse. This happened to me. This is my truth. I am not a liar. I am not making it up.
I hear you. Creative expression, journeying with us is one way to help you heal.
This is the thing. Once you report a sexual assault case, normally it just doesn't end there. It never does.
No, it doesn't. Men and boys who have been sexually assaulted face similar feelings or reactions as other survivors of sexual assault. In addition, they also face additional challenges because of social attitudes and stereotypes relating to men and boys, and as well as masculinity. But you have all been so brave as you have been able to walk this road, and you have come so far.
I never saw myself in such a setting. I never saw myself in a group setting speaking about what I went through, especially after testifying against that coward and justice was served. Especially after justice was served, that's when the true challenges began. And at this point, I still keep so much bottled up inside. But being here today and sharing in this safe space has changed my perception on seeking professional help.
Yeah, that is really good. And this is the reason why we are here. This is our safe space. And it's really hard to know what to do or how it feels or what your options are after a sexual assault. Please know that you are not alone, okay? Yeah. Before we leave, here are some few things to keep in mind. If you are in immediate danger or perhaps seriously injured, please do call the police, okay? Your safety is very important. Are you safe at home? If you are not safe, consider reaching out to someone you trust for support. You don't actually have to go through this alone. What happened was not your fault. Something happened to you that you didn't want to happen. And that's really not okay. Okay? Now, I know it was really not easy sharing your stories, but however, this is progress to healing. Okay, thank you very much for coming to the group. See you in our next session.
Traumatic events can be very difficult to come to terms with, but confronting your feelings and getting professional help is often the only effective way of treating trauma. Call the Lifeline Childline Namibia toll-free numbers 116 or 106 to talk to a professional counselor. Lines are open 24/7.